Russian influence over Kiev. The U.S. does not expect a wholesale Russian invasion. It believes Moscow knows that would provoke a massive security crisis. But what happens if Russia just sends a few troops across the border? What then? Barbara Starr, CNN, the Pentagon.
Still on the crisis in Ukraine, ousted President Viktor Yanukovych has resurfaced in Rostov-on-Don, Russia. This after disappearing from his country. Yanukovych said that he fled Kiev for his life was in danger by the forces who want to take over the country. As we hear in the CFI report, he is still insisting that he is in power and will not give up at any cost.
President Viktor Yanukovych has reappeared in the southern Russian city of Rostov-on-Don. Yanukovych had disappeared after being ousted by a popular uprising last week. He gave a long-awaited press conference from Russia Friday in which he said he would not give up the fight for the future of his country, which he said had fallen into the hands of neo-fascists. Yanukovych said he had been forced from power and spoke of the irresponsible attitude of Western nations. He said that the events taking place in Crimea were a natural reaction to a coup. Crimea, with its majority ethnic Russian population, has been the scene of utter confusion. The new authorities in Kiev accused Moscow of invading Ukrainian territory after armed men took control of 2 Crimean airports. Some of the men wore uniforms with no insignia. I'm not sure who they are, just armed people. But they helped us to establish security. They took the territory under control. Russia on Friday denied having anything to do with the takeover of the airports of Sebastopol and Simferopol. And later, a high-ranking Ukrainian official said the airports in Crimea were once again under the control of the official authorities. Meanwhile, faced with a looming crisis in eastern Ukraine, the new interim president launched a solemn appeal. We are appealing to the Russian Federation to stop moves that show signs of undermining the national sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine and reject support for separatism in Ukraine in any form. The same sentiments were expressed by France, Germany and Poland, which reaffirmed their support for the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine.
News just in, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya AJJ Jammeh, has condemned the recent violence in the Federal Republic of Nigeria in which several innocent civilians lost their lives. The president said that such acts of terror perpetrated by groups in the name of Islam is against the teachings of the religion. Professor Jammeh was speaking to reporters at the Banjul International Airport following a visit to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, where he took part in a series of activities marking the country's centenary. Here is an excerpt of the president's interview by Modi Jallo.
Without peace, there cannot be development. And now, with the advent of terrorism and criminal behavior, people hiding behind Islam, it is not for one country to fight. But since we, especially in West Africa and Africa in general, we don't have borders where there are fences and somebody has to cross from one place to another to a checkpoint. All our borders are porous. And so it has to take concerted effort on behalf of all of us to fight terrorism. I believe that if everybody is committed to the fight against terrorism, there would be no terrorism, because if they are not safe anywhere, they will not have a safe haven. And so we realize that whatever you call it in Nigeria is a criminal enterprise. You cannot kill innocent people in the name of Islam. You cannot even kill people who have not done anything wrong to you. So, the question is, what Islam would propel a true believer, a true Muslim, to go and slaughter children sleeping in a hostel or in a college accommodation? What have they got, even if it is political, what have the students got to do with Nigerian politics? They are going to school. Do you understand? So we have to distinguish between people that may fight for a genuine cause And the only time people are fighting for a genuine cause is when we are fighting against colonialism. In South Africa, in Namibia, Southern Africa, elsewhere, Guinea-Bissau. But now, it has become fashionable for any crook to be used by outside forces in the name of a religion or in the name of a tribe that has been oppressed to take on a government in a country that is rapidly developing. This is unacceptable. I believe that what is happening is outside powers. These are all proxy wars. They don't want Africa to develop. If Africa is
President Jammeh there speaking at the Banjul International Airport, where he just subtly landed from his visit to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, where he took part in a series of activities marking the country's centenary. With that excerpt by President Jammeh, we now take our first or second commercial break. You thinking of a property partner? Think Universal Properties. Universal Properties is the leading real estate developing agent in the Gambia. Universal Properties prides itself with experience in the property business. Our properties are well located in areas such as Brufut, Sukuta, Lamin Kerawan and Tanji, close to the Camel Safari and opposite the river. The properties have all access to good road networks, electricity supply and water. Our payment terms are flexible and prices affordable.
This is Universal Properties. We urge all Gambians to come on board. We are reliable, reasonable and cheap because we want to make home affordable to every Gambian.
Visit Universal Properties today on FIB building along the Keraba Avenue. Universal Properties, the most experienced real estate company in the Gambia. And welcome back. And before we take leave of you, a quick reminder of the day's top stories. Gambia Indigenous Livestock Multipliers Association has held an institutional revitalization conclave as the body moves to overcome bottlenecks threatening the quest for improved livestock breeds in the country. Viktor Yanukovych has turned up in Rostov-on-Don, Russia, days after his disappearance from his presidential seat in crisis-stricken Ukraine, and tensions between East and West. The Obama White House has warned the Kremlin against any provocation of Ukraine, urging Moscow to respect the sovereignty of Kiev. That was all in this edition of the News at 8. Thanks for the pleasure of your company. To stay with Grts.
ñoo bokk réew mi ñu ne neen la bu ñu dara xaajale amut mag amul ndaw amut xeet amut waaso ñu ne neen la nañ soppi jikko yi góor ak jigéen ñëpp a ci em ba ñu yàlla boolee bu ñu dara xaajale
ayen doole de seetaan ñu ni neen la
kon nag ñu ni neen la
ñu ni neen la fii si GRTS ajuma bu nekk suy juróom-ñetti waxtu déggee ak genn waal ñu bamtuwaat ko dimanche ñaari waxtu ci bëccëg kon nag bu ko kenn uute.
It is a Gambian brain and heart at work, which is why we can identify and understand what it takes to build and maintain trust. It is no coincidence Trust Bank Limited, a Gambian bank, a Gambian managed entity, has become the highest employer in the industry, widest ATM network, and with the widest branch network and counting. We believe in putting you first. That is why we play our part in nation building, from sports to education, and play a meaningful role in complementing government efforts in health delivery. We believe in putting you first. Because of our innate understanding of your needs to tailor-make